Hi and welcome back to the command line. Having looked at how the less tool works for viewing text documents, we're now going to go through a lesson where we look at a bunch of more text documents effectively. What we're going to learn today is we're going to learn how you find out what the commands inside your command line actually are. If you want a command to do something, then there are potentially ways of finding out. Though I note that while I'm going to show you these tools that are built into the command line, they are not normally the way that you'll find out how to do things on the command line. You'll normally end up searching Stack Overflow or reading tutorials or using other means to find out. But there are some built-in tools that might help you find commands that you want to run, and let's run through those and find out what they are. So the first tool is called apropos, and if I type apropos and a thing that I want to do, like say I want to do something with a directory, I can type apropos directory, and it will show me a big list of commands that are related to directories. And we'll see in here some things that we're familiar with. So we'll see we've got cd, and we might see that we've got ls, which lists directory contents. And we've got pwd, which, as described over here, returns your current working directory or your present working directory. You'll also see these little numbers next to commands, and these represent man sections, and I'll come back and talk about those a little bit later on. Now, there are some commands missing from this list that you might expect to see if we're looking for commands that work with directories. We can't see the mkdir command, which should be here somewhere, the command for making a directory, and we don't see the rmdir command. We've got rm, which is deleting files, or as described here, removing directory entries, but that means deleting files. But we don't have rmdir, and well, why is that? And that's because apropos is a bit stupid, really, and it's only showing you stuff that match what we typed. So we are now inside a less-like interface where we can use up and down arrows and spacebar to scroll through, and to get out of a more or a less-like interface, if you're viewing something, you press Q. So if I press Q, I'll get out of that, and you'll note that I typed apropos directory. And if I type apropos directories, you'll see actually under directories, because this is what we're searching for, we now find we've got the make directory and remove directory commands. So apropos is a bit stupid when it's doing searching. It only searches for exactly what you type. Now, we've used man pages before, so we can type man apropos and we can get the man page for apropos. And that's great. So once we've found the command that we want to use, we can open the man page for it, and we can find out, well, what are the options that we can pass to it here, and we get a full description of what it does and what the options might do. Now at the bottom of this, we've also got a see also section, and this is quite handy. I note that I'm again inside a more or a less like interface where I've got up and down. It takes me up and down. Space also scrolls me through a page at a time, and I can Q to quit again. So remember those things whenever you're using apropos or if you're using man. And yeah, this is telling me that there are some similar commands called whatis and man. We know what man is. We don't know what whatis is. So let's press Q to get out of here. And then we can do man whatis. And we'll see whatis searches the whatis database for complete words. So, well, what was apropos doing? Well, let's do apropos of whatis. And you'll see whatis searches the whatis database for complete words, and apropos searches the whatis database for strings. So it sounds to me like if I type in just a partial match, then apropos is going to find that, but whatis isn't. So if I do apropos of direct, or like that, then that will show me all of my directory commands, regardless of whether they're singular or plural. So I should be able to see in here, I've got my pwd, but I've also got my rmdir, and I've got my mkdir. So I've done a partial match on the kind of common part of the word directory, and that's found all of those commands. So we can use apropos to search for commands that we might be interested in. We can use whatis to do the same thing, but possibly be a bit stricter about what we're matching. And we can use man to look at the man pages for commands and find out more about them. Now, I did just mention, if I run this command again, maybe with the whatis, I did mention that there are these numbers in brackets, and these represent man page sections. And you won't normally be interested in man page sections, but if I drag this Wikipedia page over. This is the Wikipedia page for the man pages in Unix, and scroll down a bit, you'll see that there are some descriptions of man page sections, and you'll see section 1 is general commands, section 2 is system calls, section 3 is library functions, and so on. The ones that you're most likely interested in are going to be sections 1, which are general commands, sections 5, which are file formats and conventions, and section 8, which are system administration commands. You may sometimes at some point be interested in the other sections. It's unlikely unless you're doing some low-level coding, you're not likely to be interested in library functions. You'll sometimes be interested in special files, but to start with, generally you're going to be looking for things in section 1 and section 5 and section 8. And you can also, if I switch back to terminal, if I type man, you should see that one of the options you can pass to man is a section number. So if I want to search a particular section, then I can do, say, man1 mkdir, and that shows me the mkdir command from section 1 of the manual pages. So hopefully with apropos and whatis and man, that gives you tools to find out what commands exist and find out what they do, and go forth and make use of the command line.